It's the Venue Underground. Welcome back. We live, eat, breathe, work weddings, and we've seen it all. We're here in our converted fallout shelter to chat about the weddings we just attended in our personal lives, as well as some things that we are now seeing as wedding vendors behind the scenes. I'm Kate. I'm here with Gemma and Rachel.
Hey, hey.
Hello. And this is the Venue Underground. Okay, so we had something dramatic happen at our venues. Basically, my mom takes a lot of our phone calls and inquiries, and she group texted us and was like, "Hey, I just had a groom's mom call me and try and change the date of her son's wedding." And we got like a really frantic email from the bride who was like, "Please don't change my date." So apparently, I don't know if there's some drama happening or what's going on, but the groom's mom was like reaching out to us, the venue, trying to change the date of the wedding.
Did she acknowledge that, like, hey, I'm trying to do this hush hush, or just like, where are some dates? Because like we have one booked. I just want to change. I just want to know what our other options are. Like, what was the tone?
So when she reached out initially, she didn't say she was an existing client or, was talking about an existing wedding, because again, she's not the client. The bride is the client and she's the groom's mom. But she reached out and was like, hey, what dates do you have available in this specific month? And we told her, because we're like, oh, you're interested in booking us for your wedding. Here's what's available. And then she's like, okay, well, what if I already have a date booked and I want to move it? And my mom's like, who are you? What's going on? And she ties it together like, this is the date, but you're not the client.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And by client, we mean the contract holder.
The contract holder.
The contract is not in your name.
The contract is not in this person's name.
What's she trying to do?
What's she trying to do? And then the bride, who is the contract holder, emails us and is like, please do not change our date. So I'm just like,
what is the tea?
What is the tea? Like, what's going on?
Well, there's so many different things here. Devil's advocate, maybe mom was like looking at the calendar and there's other kids who are getting married and engaged, and she just like, maybe this month that she was looking to see if we had any availability, maybe that month was like, well, let me take the stress off of them by shopping around for another date. Same venue. I can see that that's like a mom move where the bride is like, our wedding is booked. This is our date. Whatever else you have going on in your world, surgery, other weddings, life plans, vacations, like our wedding is this date. Mm-hmm. And it probably came from mom trying to plan and accommodate for whatever her personal thing was, mm-hmm. but not doing it the right way.
No.
And a date is like that's your wedding. It's obviously they're not communicating efficiently. So like maybe there's catering booked, maybe there's vendors booked. That's not helpful.
I'm trying to think of like why she would want to change it. My brain just keeps going to like, something negative, but it's like, if it was something negative, she doesn't want them to get married. Why would you pick a different date? My brain can't.
She should just cancel or try and cancel.
Yeah. My brain's going to like, I'm envisioning my mother and how my family is, which is an anomaly. But my mom would be like, all right, well, let's just consider all of our options. Like I can see if the story I'm creating in my brain is, I'm getting married in March. And then my sister and my brother and my other sister and a million siblings all get engaged in the same year. And they're all talking weddings around the same time. And then my mom's like, all right, well, Rachel's the easiest to she'll understand. What if we move her wedding to a different month later in the year or something like that? Or like, I feel like it came from a place of mom has something going on, whether it's another kid's wedding or a vacation or something, where she's just like, let me be able to tell the bride, hey, look, the date that you've chosen doesn't really work for me. But look, I've already asked and I've already found out that you can pick any of these other dates later in the year.
So she wanted to lay out all the options when presenting, oh, hey, there's a Lady Gaga concert that I really need to go to.
That's how my brain sees it.
The day of your weddings.
Oh my gosh.
Here are some other dates you could choose.
I can imagine that once she got the list of dates, she was going to talk to the bride and be like, hey, look, there's a problem with what you chose, but here's other options that accommodate me more.
How soon is the existing date? Fall 25?
Yeah, fall of 26.
Oh, it already is fall 26.
It's fall 25 now.
No, like when is this person's wedding? I know they
Oh.
wanted to move it to fall 26.
I don't know.
Oh, because I was like, I wonder what the.
Or if you're thinking like, are they postponing or like making it delayed?
I just wonder what the timeline is. Like, like did they just book and their wedding is not until spring 26, but they want to move it to fall?
Mm-hmm. And we get that sometimes, like, there are like pregnancies or like, let's say like family members who aren't doing so well. So they want to move the wedding up, things like that. And we generally work with people. But yeah, it was just real. Like,
That's not the way to do that.
it's not the way
Yeah.
to do it. And I want to see the best in people. Right. And maybe
But I never do.
I know Gemma's not the queen of that.
No.
And yeah, I kind of tend to go negative with what I'm thinking, but I could see it.
I try to go positive sometimes. I'm trying to go positive, but even if it's harmless, even if it's just let me get some information, that way she can bring it back to the bride, there's still a way to do it. There's an order of operations and she didn't follow that. And so even if it's harmless, even if it's she's trying to plan like a surgery for herself or something and wants to make sure she can attend and be dancing and having fun, you communicate that beforehand. Because if I'm the bride and I hear that you've already gone and had a conversation with my venue and you've already contacted people, like I'm not as warm anymore.
Yeah.
So, well, and it's also an important lesson for vendors. This is something that we have gotten very good at over the years, is only discussing any changes to the contracts with the contract holder. Because there will be people who want to change the date. We've had, I feel like I don't know if it's exes or what, but we've had people like call to cancel weddings, and they call and they won't email, but they'll call and be like, oh, I need to cancel this wedding. And I'm like, you're not the contract holder. So weddings bring out the weird. Weddings bring out the weirdness in people, and they will do all kinds of things. So just vendors, do not cancel or change a contract until you like have confirmed that it's coming from the actual contract holder. And even if it's like, because we only put one person on our contract, so even if it's, let's say the bride is on the contract but the groom is not, if the groom calls us to cancel, I'm sorry, but like, and y'all broke up and it's the groom's job.
Before.
Yeah, and the groom got the job of canceling all the vendors. I'm sorry, but the bride is the one on the contract. So even though she's devastated or whatever, she still has to be the one to cancel because it's in her name. So even though you were one of the people getting married, it's not technically your contract.
It's kind of like, I get this way whenever I check into a hotel. It's like, do not give a key to anyone else.
Yeah.
I am, the hotel is in my name. It's in Rachel's name. Rachel is the only person who can come to the desk and ask for a key, duplicate copy, what room, all that stuff. You can imagine the chaos that would ensue if the hotel gave a key to some random who is like, hey, is Rachel staying here or whatever? Like, that's kind of the same. It's like, you are the only person who can change, amend, cancel.
Exactly. Because it's a legally binding thing. Like, I know there's a lot of like romance and whimsy and all that that comes along with weddings, but a contract with a vendor is a legally binding contract. And so I'm not about to cancel it because, somebody whose name is not the person in the contract tells me to. And then sometimes it's hard to get a hold of the person. So, we have it so that you have to cancel at least 90 days in advance to not owe your final balance. And, we'll get close to the deadline and I'll be like, hey, like, I need to hear from this person before the deadline. And it's the wrong half of the couple is the one who's trying to cancel. And I'm like, I need to hear from this person before this date in order to, officially cancel things. Because we've also had people who like, they'll break up, and especially if it's like after the cancellation date. So we won't, you still owe the balance or all the payments are non-refundable. So they're like, well, I have this space for this day. So I'll have a graduation party. I'll have we've actually had, so during the pandemic, people were, we were allowed to have small gatherings, and then we would have the reception for them later. So like people had an original date, and then like a year later they would have their reception. So we had more than a handful of people who had a small ceremony during the pandemic, and then by the time their big reception came around a year later, they had already gotten divorced.
Oh my God.
Yes. I forgot you weren't here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but at that point, they'd already paid for everything. So we had one was a divorce party, another one was a graduation party because she had gotten her PhD or something
I
during
remember that.
time.
It was
Yeah.
that was at that was at Main Street. That was
at Main
a
Street.
really pretty one.
Yeah. Like they had a great time. They turned, their wedding into a celebration of something else. But yeah, more than a handful of people who got married during the pandemic at our venues were divorced less than a year later.
Oi.
So have you guys seen that story about there was a wedding venue and the groom died right before, maybe like 6 months before the wedding, and the venue did not refund the deposit. Technically, the way their contract was worded, it sounds like they didn't legally have to. When I posted about this story online, it just sparked so many comments. Like people were fighting on both sides because they were like, business is business. You can't bend contracts for whatever. And then other people were like, okay, this is heartless and they need to refund everything. I'm of the mindset that there's a difference. Like, yes, being legally right is important, but then also being human is important. But then we also have people who I feel like either I wouldn't put it past somebody to like say, oh, the groom died, but he's still alive. Like I would not put it past people. Like sometimes we've seen a lot. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Like returning the money? Yes, no.
I have strong feelings.
Tell me those feelings.
I think you kind of nailed it where you're like, business is business and legally follow the contract. You don't have to refund anything, but also like you're being a human. This is a human moment. Find compassion. I think what gets tricky with some of these, there's this story, which obviously was a really not great one. There's another venue in the Maple Lawn in our neighborhood Facebook group. There was a gal who canceled her event and the venue wasn't refunding her. So she was trying to sublet the date.
Okay.
Like who else wants it? And everyone's bashing the venue. Like, I can't believe they wouldn't refund your deposit. That's insane. And it's like, it's really not insane. The service that you do is holding the date. So everyone who wants that date, you're telling them no. And then to the people who are like, oh, there's still 6 months. That's so much time. And the gal in the Facebook group, I think hers was a couple months away. And it's like, that might seem like a lot of time to you, but in the wedding world, when people are planning their weddings a year, 2 years out, that's not, no one's booking that date. These are small businesses, and that whatever the deposit was, like,
I think it was like $18,000.
Yet that's not just money to stuff down a bra. Like that's keeping a business running and payroll and lights and rent on the space or mortgage if they own the property. Like there's a reason it costs that. There's a reason it's non-refundable.
Yep.
So like, be human and give options, but at the end of the day, let's not slam the business for like trying to keep their doors open. Because also like if they like kind of how we were throughout the pandemic, if you just refund everybody, then you'll go out of business and then no one can have their weddings. Then everyone who you have booked, you're saying, oh, JK, you don't have a venue anymore. So it's like it's a lose-lose all around. Yeah. And you want to take every situation at face value. You don't want to have to say like, well, let me see a death certificate. Like that's adding insult to injury. Right. Adding insult to death. But yeah, just like ideally don't die before your wedding.
I know.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It sucks so bad.
I agree. I would just, I don't know, take a look and see what can you give back. If you can't give the full thing back, you can't go without giving the whole thing, what can you stand to lose? Yeah. So that you're like trying to give an olive branch. Yeah. Because more than likely people will take something. Like if they can't get the whole thing back, they're always happy to get a little bit rather than nothing. So I guess I don't know. That's how I would approach it. How much can I stand to give you without impacting me greatly?
But there's a difference between one of the people who are getting married passing away and you all breaking up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not refunding it if you break up. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm going by my contract with that because we do provide a service. Of like Rachel was saying, like we do provide a service. The minute you book, we start turning other people away. So yes, we could potentially rebook that exact date, but that's because that date is available. There are other unsold dates that new booking could have gone to. So it's just, I think people, one time I had somebody, it was a groom, and he was not happy with, I think, our rental window, which is already insane. Our rental window is 16 hours long. And he wanted more time for free. And he's calculated, he was like, I paid, I don't remember what the amount was, but like X dollars per minute to be in your venue. And you can't give me an extra 15 minutes. And I'm like, well, no, because it throws off all of our, like, we have cleaners, we have staff, we have all that. It's a wheeled, a fine-tuned machine. The wheels are in motion, whatever. So you're asking me to throw, a wrench in our systems. It's going to cost you if you're going to throw a wrench in our systems. But I just remember this guy who was like, okay, well, it cost me X dollars per minute. And I'm like, well, no, because that's just for the rental window, but also the cost of me turning away other potential clients. And then also all of the hours and hours and hours we spend with you between the date that you booked and your actual event date. So, it's not just 16 hours that we spend with you. We spend
No, it is not.
a hell of a lot more time than that. So it's,
It just blows my mind. Like you don't go into Target and see a shirt that you like, and the shirt's $10.99, and then when you check out, say, okay, well, I want the shirt and the shoes, but I only have $10.99. Like, you don't get to negotiate the price of the thing. And just because we're not like as concrete as I'm purchasing this individual item, like just because it's not that black and white, like it's still a service.
Yeah.
That I don't know. It makes me irritated.
Yeah. A lot of people think they can haggle. A lot of people think they can haggle.
We saw
I know
that.
that's so crazy to me. Like I just have never. That's not my personality. Like,
Yeah.
and when people are like, "Well, can I have this, this, and this?" It's like,
No.
I don't know. I just would never think to ask that, and so it's always so rude and off-putting to me when people do that.
We don't put a price on the venue and say like X dollars or best offer.
Yeah.
It's like
It's not Facebook Marketplace.
it's not a Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting that people have sort of the inclination that it goes through people's minds to even think about haggling with a small business.
Same
They're
with
the ones
contracts.
who can't do it. Yes.
Like even if it's not like quantity or payment that they're negotiating, they try to negotiate the contract. Like we've definitely had a handful of emails where they go line by line through the contract and they're like, I want this removed and this added and this da da da. And it's like, no,
It's not a thing.
it's not we're not customizing it to you and your needs. Every client is going to be held to the same standard and treated the same.
I had this was a walkthrough the other day, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but it's probably good I don't remember their name. We were talking about their rental window and how they have the space 8 a.m. until midnight. Or no, they were an hourly or something. And they were wondering, all right, well, can they come any earlier? And I was like, no, your window starts at this time. I think we had like a rehearsal going on just before what they had coming up. And they were like, okay, well, do we know that like the rehearsal is going to end on time? And I was like, yeah, we're really about business.
We're
Like,
strict with the windows.
You guys have the time starting at your hour. So they will be out by their hour because that's how things go. And then as soon as they were like confirming that the rehearsal would be done on time and that they would be able to access the building, and like, I'm going on and on about how like we honor people's time. Like their window is their window. It doesn't matter if they're late, whatever, their window is their window. As soon as we just finished clarifying that, they were like, okay, now how do we add more time to it? Like if we go over, what is that like? And it's like, no, there is no the same way you don't want the rehearsal going over bleeding into you guys. you're not going over. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, there's no event afterwards. And I was like, yeah, but our staff like goes home.
Yes.
I always remind people that like pretty much everyone on our team has kids. So like we have lives. And so if you want to add time to your event, do it well beforehand. That way we can alert staff, make sure they know, we can accommodate the change. But day of, you're not extending, because remember 5 minutes ago when we were talking about that rehearsal that you wanted to make sure was out on time? It's literally like, why does the rule not apply to you?
We're also going to make sure you're out on time.
Why does
Yeah.
the rule not apply to you?
We have an event here in November that they've asked that multiple times. It's like, if we go over, what is the cutoff? When do we start like getting
The cutoff is
charged?
the end of your rental
Yeah,
window.
it's like, when do we start getting charged?
The end of your rental
And I was
window.
just like, you need to be out by your rental window. Like, yeah, but what if it's like 12:15 and we're still working on getting out? It's like, you fucked up then. Like,
You're paying for time in a
Yeah.
space. That's the product. It's like asking for free product when they're
Mhm.
asking for additional time. And I feel like it's the same thing like with a photographer. If they're like, oh, can you just stay an extra 15 minutes? It's like photographers have set packages of like this much time, this much coverage. Like, no, you're asking for free product from a small business. I don't understand.
yeah.
I don't understand why people think that that's okay. Like, small businesses are the people who have the least extra to give. And then you're asking for free shit. And it's the same thing. Like, so I'll see this also like on, I follow a bunch of people, small businesses, like they do, art and whatever, and make little things and little shops. And or especially around the holidays, they're like, I see so many of them posting memes that are like, don't ask for a friends and family discount, from a small business. The best way to support your friend and their small business is to pay retail price. It's like the people you should not be asking for discounts from. Like, large corporations can handle it, but like just because the owner,
Yeah.
you pay. You don't ask for freebies. You pay full price.
I just feel like asking for discount, like, it's, I guess, not Facebook Marketplace. This is not a yard sale. Asking for discounts is like completely disrespectful to the process that the business owner put in place to determine their price. When you first open the venues, obviously you have the space and you're like, okay, what am I going to charge for it? And then you come up with your algorithm. Okay, like whether it's looking at venues in the area or what's the going rate or what's like, how much effort are you putting in when you're the one working these things? Like, what are you going to have to pay your staff? What's the, like, all of those factors that go into determining cost. For someone to just walk in and say, okay, I want it cheaper. How can you make that happen for me? It's just like,
we had somebody ask to price match. We have two venues that are near each other, but have two different price points because they have two different aesthetics.
it's more than just they have two different
Yeah.
aesthetics. There's two different complete costs to run each venue.
Yes. And they came in and they wanted the more luxurious venue. But, they wanted the price of the less luxurious venue, and they asked us to price match. And it's like, what? No. I don't understand why you would ask. That's like saying, I want a filet, but I want to pay for a ribeye. It's like, they're both great steaks. Just if you can't afford the filet, get the ribeye.
I can see some people listening to this or watching this and thinking like, oh, well, you do it at like a car dealership. And that's a big ticket item. Like, I get it. At a car dealership, not CarMax, not Enterprise. Some places you don't haggle.
I was going to say, I'm glad that might be ending with like, CarMax and
It's
Carvana and stuff like that.
But that's a situation where you see, and where there's one dealership, there's 20, right? You'll have a million different car dealerships lined up next to each other, and they all might have the same car. You might find it at the used car place, at CarMax, at the name brand place, whatever it is. And so I can go to Gemma and say, hey, I want this Nissan Altima. How much is it? I can go to you and your dealership and say, all right, well, Gemma said this. And since you all have the same exact thing and you all want to make the sale, I get it. Our venue, we're one venue. And even though we have two Fetwell event spaces here next to each other in Maryland, they're like you said, completely different. So it's like, it's not like if you want something in your budget, certainly don't kill yourself for your wedding. Don't
stretch.
Yeah, don't overextend. But like, it sounds like you will need to find what fits in your budget. Like, if you're comparing the same car across multiple dealerships, maybe that's one thing. But I'm not going to go pick out a Rolls Royce and then go look at a Honda Civic and say, okay, well, the Rolls Royce was,
That's what I really want.
yeah. Or I think I did it wrong, but like you're not going to go to the Honda Civic place and say, well, I want the Rolls Royce, but the Honda Civic.
Yeah, I'm
car,
gonna pay
it's
for
not,
the
it's
Honda
not a
Civic.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. You both went to weddings this week. I feel very left out. I have not been to a wedding this year at all, other than for work.
Lucky.
Key, I want to hear about your travels.
Oh my
You had
gosh.
2, yeah, a
Yeah.
destination, both kind of destination.
Yeah, we went to New Hampshire the first weekend in October. We came back on Monday. We had our management meeting on Tuesday. We left at 4 a.m. on Wednesday to go to Santo Domingo.
Yay.
And we got back on Sunday at midnight from Santo
So
Domingo.
Wednesday through Sunday, that's a nice vacation around wedding as well.
It
Uh-oh.
would have
Is that not what you would call it?
Mm.
No. It would have been a nice vacation if we had been like in a resort.
Oh, interesting.
We were in the colonial zone. Like this, I told Andrew, like the area that we were staying in was like touristy, but it was for tourists that lived there.
Mhm.
It was not for like us.
I know nothing about Santo Domingo. Like, where even is it? I don't even know.
It's in the Dominican Republic. It's the capital city.
Okay. Got it.
It's like my friend's wedding in Boston, in New Hampshire, was like amazing. It was great. And I was part of the wedding, so like that was in itself was like exhausting and tiring, but it was really nice. And it was just Andrew and I. We didn't have Finley. This other one in DR, it was like traveling with Finley. She was great on the plane.
Because how old is she now? She's like,
She's gonna turn 3
3,
like
yeah.
in a month.
And has she been on was that her first flight?
No, she's been on a plane before. We went to Texas last year.
Okay.
But this time, like, she was just like not handling the heat well. She wasn't eating anything on the trip.
She was hot and hungry.
None of the activities were for people with children. We got there on Wednesday. I don't remember if we went out to dinner. Yeah, we went out to dinner on Wednesday night. Finley fell asleep in my arms in the restaurant.
Oh. You hated that.
The only good thing of the trip was like all these contact naps because she was just like sleeping literally, and twice she fell asleep on me in a restaurant. And then after we went to dinner, but like the bride didn't really want to go to dinner and they didn't really like formalize anything, so they went across the street to this place. And outside the door it says like in Spanish, like nobody under 21 can come in here. And I'm like, guys, I don't think Finley can go in here. Like, I don't think we can go. And they're like, no, it's fine. Let's go in. We go in, we sit down, and we get asked to leave because we have Finley.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else of the party and the friends and everyone else, they get to stay in this restaurant. And I'm outside on a bench crying because this is now the second activity that like we cannot participate in because we have a child. And so I'm like sitting on the bench crying, and I'm like, I know this is really stupid. Like, I know that I shouldn't be crying, but like I'm really frustrated because one, it's hot. So I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm crying. Why did you have us bring our kid?
That is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying this before. With like, if my kid's invited and you want my kid to come, then have activities. Like, we know we won't be able to do everything, but at least have options, or like the things that you are doing, like the rehearsal dinner and like the big day trip excursion, make that be something inclusive.
It was every activity this past weekend that it seemed that we weren't able to participate in fully.
Was it explained beforehand that like kids are welcome, but it's kind of geared towards adults? Or was it like, no, we want Finley there. We want like Finley's part of this.
Yeah, it was just that like she's invited, Finley could come. The day of the wedding, we were like told to get down there at 3:30 for the ceremony. The ceremony didn't start till like 4:30.
Oh God.
Everyone is sitting outside.
I was gonna say, is it outside? And you're in
everything was outside.
so hot.
Everything was outside. The real feel in Santo Domingo was 107 degrees and 78% humidity. And so everyone is just out there sweating. And then after that, it was go over to this clear tent that's been sitting in the courtyard for 3 days, like a greenhouse. and like we'll do dinner. There was no cocktail hour food. And dinner did not start until between 7:30 and 8. It was just like their wedding was beautiful. It looked something like out of TikTok. They had confetti. They had pyrotechnics. They had things hanging from, the tent.
Right.
Great, amazing. The vendor in me was like, "What the fuck are these confettis in place?"
Not your problem. Not your venue. Not your
Yeah,
problem.
it was like I was just like, "Oh my god." So it was very beautiful, but it was just like it was not for us.
And it sounds like they weren't prioritizing guest experience, and it was more what will photograph beautifully and what will be impressive instead of how your guests will actually maneuver throughout the day.
Yeah, it was just so hot and miserable. And then at one point, like I know Andrew was getting frustrated with me because like I was just like I don't dance at weddings anyways, but I was like I don't want to dance. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do anything. Like I am done because my dress was like soaked through. And then for the past 4 days, Finley's been like clingy and sleeping on me and everything. Well, she's in like a fluffy dress, soaked in sweat. I'm soaked in sweat. And then she's like laying on me.
Yes.
And I was
Mom's
like,
sweat sandwich.
yeah. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. So at one point, like, I did leave. I left the wedding because it was like in our hotel. I left the wedding. I went to our room. I changed my bra, my underwear, my dress, and I changed it to a whole different outfit. There's like no pictures of me, and they have like a photo stream going of like all these photos. There's like no photos with me in it, barely any photos with Finley, and everyone's having a good time. And I was like, I can't have a good time like this. Yeah, it was from a guest perspective, like not one of the best.
It's so that point, and then what you said about like, were we prioritizing like pictures and like the look over guest experience? The part of me feels like it's your wedding day. It's whatever you want it to be. Like guests, my attitude, and I tell this to people on walkthroughs, it's like, it's your day. It's your wallet. You're spending this money. It's whatever you want it to be. And to anyone who has a complaint, it's like, you're welcome for your invitation. Like you're lucky you were even invited. But I do feel like with destination weddings in particular, when it's not just, I'm going across the street, I'm going to the town over, like I could bring my kid or I could, just hire a sitter for the night. When it's flights, hotel, like, and the opposite would be if you left Finley, a 4-day, 5-day babysitter, like it's an expense. I think you're bringing everyone to a place where not everyone has been before. And it's not like, there's a weekend of stuff to do. I do think there should be consideration into the guest experience. Hey, like here's some restaurants nearby. Here's some things to do in town. Here's what we're doing, the wedding party. But like you're here for multiple days. It's not just like, hey, go Google and Yelp what there is to do in San Diego.
That was not our most fun trip.
Yeah.
I'm hoping when we go to San Antonio, it will be a little bit better.
When's that one?
It's in 2 weeks. And then again, all of the same family members that were there.
So you'll be in those pictures.
We'll be there. Maybe.
Just make sure you're in those pictures.
Yeah.
Gemma was here.
Was the Dominican pretty?
It was.
Okay.
It was pretty.
It
was nice.
Like islands and tropical. I think that's like magical.
Yeah, I mean, like driving
Wedding
in and like
sense.
seeing the beach and stuff, that was pretty. But
I was gonna say one nice thing about the wedding. That's all she. The Dominican was beautiful.
it was.
Was there cake?
We didn't even stay for the cake.
Okay, well, Gemma.
And then they had, the clear tent that I sent you guys a picture of. That next morning, it thunderstormed early in the morning. The tent was filled with pockets of water.
Good. Yes.
Like it looked like kind of like you filled like a condom up with water. There were like these like little pockets, and while we're eating breakfast, like 2 of the pockets popped and like splashed water, and like the water pockets were so heavy that a string of string lights had like snapped.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because it took like 3 days to put the tent up, the stage up, and all this thing. So I guess they were gonna come sometime on Friday and start taking it down, because it wasn't like a tent that we would see. Like this was like Lady Gaga's coming kind of equipment. But it popped from the rain.
That sucks so bad.
Yeah, I think no clear tents if it's above 80 degrees outside. It just should not be allowed. It's like it becomes a furnace.
Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. It was just that it was far too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And after like 4 days of heat and not eating, it just was like, it was at the breaking point.
So like aesthetically, 10 out of 10. Guest experience, 0. There are a couple of new trends that are kind of hilarious, that are helping people cover their wedding budgets, and we are going to talk about that next time. That's a wrap for this episode. We're running out of time.
Ooh.
So that is it for this week of the Venue Underground. Next time, we're going to talk a little bit about some creative financing for weddings that I guarantee you have not thought of. So we'll save you a seat on the Underground. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we hit stop. I know you got to get out of here.